Hello everyone, Ray here. Samsung's got two similar yet different series of mid-rangers in 2017, and here we've got the A5 2017 and the C9 Pro. Despite the huge difference in the screen size, but we are looking at the differences and of course the similarities between the A and the C series today in this video. Here, 5.2 inches and 6 inches. Probably the largest difference in the screen size appear in the comparison video. So the main focus of this comparison would be the overall design language, build quality, processing power across the two entire series, camera, audio quality, battery life, and more. Just in case if you are interested in the smaller C5 and the C7, check out the respective reviews. So we jump right into the comparison. First of all, the design. The C9 Pro's got a familiar, uninspired metal unibody design. The antenna bands there on the back side of the phone make it look like a phone from a Chinese manufacturer, but in reality the aviation grading aluminum material used is smooth and cool to touch. And it's got a much more rectangular design than the refreshed A series, which makes it kind of looks like a Note 5 on the front. But generally speaking, it is a Samsung phone. The build quality is decent. Meanwhile, Samsung's given the A series, including the A5 2017, a flagship treatment. Not only does it have a rounder, softer shape, but also the 3D curved Gorilla Glass 4 panel on the back. It makes much more sense to hold it with one hand, and it's also an IP68 water and dust resistant mid-ranger. What also surprised me is the build quality of this thing. Just take a closer look at the metal frame and the glass panels. They are like melted together, without any sort of plastic cushioning frame between them. The build quality is really up there, on a par with the S7. The C9 Pro, however, there we have the subtle plastic frame between the glass panel and the metal body. Not a big deal, but it's there. Hardware-wise, they've got fingerprint sensors which are even more responsive and quicker than the one on the S7. They've also got a USB Type-C port with USB on-the-go support on the bottom side. The microphone, however, the C9 Pro supports stereo recording, the left channel and the right channel. They sound crisp and clear anyways. The other major difference would be the C9 Pro's got dual SIM configuration, with a separated microSD card slot. The A5 2017, however, only supports single SIM, but luckily there we have the microSD card slot on the top side separately. NFC is also here, but the C9 Pro's taken a step further, with an LED notification light right next to the earpiece, which the A5 lacks. Speaking of the earpiece, Samsung's made a good use of it and turned it into part of the dual speaker setup. On the A5, we've got a right-mounted single speaker. It looks and sounds different, but it is indeed the least possible place to be covered by your fingers. Thumbs up, Samsung. So, when it comes to the design and the build quality, Samsung's given the A series a flagship treatment in 2017. However, the C series, especially the C9 Pro's, taken a step further on the small details of the hardware. Performance and features. Both of them are still running the outdated Android 6.0.1. What a disappointment in 2017. So it lacks some of the latest features for sure, including the expandable notification preview panel, but thankfully they've got the same user interface as the S7 and all the Samsung goodies, including one-handed operation, double tapping the home button to fire up the camera, multi-window that supports loads of third-party apps, scroll capture that was originally from the Note series, and of course keep screen turned off, which is pocket mode, and always on display as well. Oh, and the game center is also here. You can record gameplays with or without your beautiful faces. Basically, they've got almost every single feature from the S7. However, on the C9 Pro, you can find pop-up view window as well, which is floating windows, inside the advanced feature settings menu. It even supports screen recording. Even the S7 lacked this particular feature when it was launched in 2016. Those are the two extra features that we can only find on the C9 Pro. Not a huge difference still, so move on to the performance. The C9 Pro is powered by a Snapdragon 653 processor, with 4 Cortex-A72 cores clocked at 1.95 GHz and 4 A53 cores. It's actually producing flagship-killing processing power. Compared to the completely A53-based Exynos 7880 octa-core processor on the A5 2017, the C9 Pro's already killed it just on papers. If we put them side by side, we will notice the difference in the responsiveness and the speed of the system immediately. The C series also starts at 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. The C9 Pro, to be exact, packs 6GB of RAM, while the A series stopped at 32GB of storage and 3GB of RAM. According to the standard apps opening speed test that we've launched the same apps on each of them, the A5 2017 performed closer to the C5, while the C9 Pro delivers flagship tier performance. Here we've come to the second round that we open the apps again to check out the RAM management. The C9 Pro with 6GB of RAM of course flies and gives iPhone-like experience without any stutter or delay between apps switching. The A5 2017 however failed to keep some of the apps, especially large games including Perfect Angle, in memories. You are gonna tell the difference in performance in day-to-day media consumption, so see if you are a heavy user or not. Time for the camera. They've got a similar group of targeted audience. Does this mean they perform identical in reality? We'll see in a minute. Before that, they've got a 16 megapixels sensor backed with an f1.9 aperture lens on both the front and the back. Unfortunately, they lack optical image stabilization and some of the crucial features. The separated manual HDR mode is one of them. It does a great job capturing images with full size, but it certainly doesn't compete with the S7 when it comes to user-friendliness. You will also find the Pro mode is actually way less pro than the one we've found on the S7. No manual shutter speed, no white balance in Kelvin. Anyway, the image quality. The improvement over last year's model is huge. Details are now sharp and crisp. Art effect is still there but acceptable. Colors are vibrant but not over-exaggerated. Under good lighting they performed really close. The major noticeable difference would be the white balance. Sometimes the A5's warmer but sometimes the other way round, so it's a draw. When it comes to indoor and low light, the f1.9 aperture lens definitely doing its job. The images are bright, vibrant and saturated. Again, the major difference would be the white balance. Extreme low light performance, however, is identically disappointing. In the meantime, the front selfie camera on both the A5 and the C9 Pro suffers from the focusing issue. Every time I try to take a selfie with a reasonable distance, the image becomes blurry and out of focus. It's like Samsung expected their mid-range users take selfies only putting their face in the frame. Ridiculous. I seldom take selfies, so move on to video recording. Unfortunately, the lack of 4K recording and optical image stabilization makes it far from the ideal smartphone for videography. Multimedia Experience. The Super AMOLED display on either of them is gorgeous. Colors are vibrant, black is completely black thanks to the individual illuminating pixels. All the saturation, contrast and the white balance are up there to the premium flagship standard. However, 1080p on a 5.2 inches Super AMOLED display produces perfectly sharp images, while on a 6 inches massive display, pixelation starts to kick in. It's adequate versus amazing quality. They are gorgeous for a mid-ranger though. Headphone audio quality in the meantime is identical. They've both got features brought from the S series, including ultra-high quality upscaler and adapt sound, other cool stuffs as well. They drive my Xperia A3 as good as the S7, but nowhere come close to the V20 or the HTC 10 when it comes to driving high-impedance earphones. The C9 Pro, however, is the clear winner when it comes to video watching and gaming experience. The 6 inches display with a dual speaker setup, the A5 simply doesn't compete. Last but definitely not least, the battery life. The C9 Pro does pack a much larger 4000 mAh battery compared to the 3001 on the A5. But the Snapdragon processor on the C9 Pro is still based on 28nm manufacturing processes. It is indeed much less power efficient compared to the 14nm based Exynos processor on the A5. Based on our standard battery life test that plays YouTube videos for 4 hours with maximum screen brightness, the A5 2017 is the clear winner. The C9 Pro is certainly not bad, but when it comes to the second round of the battery test, they will first play an hour of YouTube videos with 50% brightness, then scroll along the timeline for another hour, finally force me to play Clash Royale for another hour. Altogether 3 hours of media consumption. They performed really close, but still, the A5 is the king in battery life. All in all, the A series might have a similar group of targeted audience as the C series, but they are quite different in reality. The A5 2017 boasts flagship-like design and build quality, with IP68 water industry resistant. The C9 Pro, however, packs an LED notification light, a dual speaker setup, and slightly more handy features. The entire C series also gives the customers their choice of having a mid to lower end specs or flagship-like performance instead on the C9 Pro. While across the A series, we've got the same processor, the same 3GB of RAM, just the difference in the size of the battery and the display. The A5, however, lasts longer on a single charge. But other than that, the differences on the camera, the display, and the audio quality via the headphone jack are negligible. So that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to watch more latest reviews. And which one do you think is the better mid-ranger from Samsung? Comments below. See you next time.